It's unbelievable. So congratulations and a salute out to the crew that just opened this up for us. Y'all was fantastic, really. And also Mr. Abel, who's a legend. That man right there is the key to a lot of freedom of being able to be liberated in your mind, body, and your soul. Because I think, no, for real, music liberates people. And music is the best teacher when it's actually interactive. When y'all allowed to do music and be taught music, I believe that in their culture classes and music classes, as much as we have our, you need your science, you need your math, definitely.
Yep.
And you definitely need your writing and your reading, because they got to be their solid foundations in life. But yeah, without them, you don't stand a chance. So we can never laugh at that person that's spending their time with language. And if you're able to have 2 languages, it's incredible, because that'll take you around the world. And the skill set, I think, is wonderful. But when you accent it with culture and music, it liberates you with the language of the world. The world is cultural. So right here at Roosevelt High School, don't laugh at the fact that culture is the thing that will set you free. So I think with all these things in society, if a person's allowed to be interactive with their music and their art and encouraged, that's a fantastic thing. You know, we all love sports, and ESPN got about 9 channels on TV talking about the same game. That's fantastic, the sports team, the football, the basketball. But how about the theater? How about a studio inside the school? How about a school radio station? So students could be interactive and not just follow what could be crap on Power 106 and 97. I hate to be like, you know, offensive towards that. But I think y'all better than that, when older people are supposed to be responsible on the radio to let younger people, you know, be able to pick up some inspiration. Let them do their thing instead of somebody always programming them. So I think right here in the core of school, if you open up culture, culture ain't this thing where people always got to be pressured to buy or sell it and all. It should be organic. And I think right here in school systems and in Roosevelt, if you let students get open to culture, and people like Frank Abel is a person that should run the curriculum alongside education. You have culture, and that makes us better people, in my opinion.
You know, just to add to that for y'all, as young people, you'll need to understand something. Education is everything. And what I mean by that is, it's not just what you get here in the walls of the school. Look at it like this. All education is information. It's what you get from a textbook, it's what you get from a workbook, it's what you get from what you see in TV, it's what you get from what you read, it's from the movies. But more importantly, education is also information that you get from the elders. When I was young, like y'all, and a lot of young people, even my mother and father, a lot of young people think the old people don't know anything. But what you forget is we was once young too. For the elders, the older folks that are fortunate to be here, we've experienced things that y'all are going through. Except it's a little different. For us, we had to work a little harder to get education or to get information. Y'all got it at your fingertips with the internet and the iPhones and all that. But when I had to go seek out information and education, we had to read the encyclopedia. We had to pick up the dictionary. So we had to work for our so-called power. And y'all need to understand, what hip-hop is utilizing, take advantage of every educational, informational, creative opportunity that comes your way, because those are the things that lead you to your fortune. Those are the things that will empower you. Now, to make you understand all of this school stuff, I want y'all to understand that school is just practice. And you might say, practice for what, DMC? Whether you know it or not, school is practice to prepare you for whatever it is that you're going to be doing. Rules, regulations, like Chuck D said, reading and writing, all of that. It's preparing you for whatever you're going to be. CEO, doctor, lawyer, performer, educator, it doesn't matter. So when we was your age, when I say we was your age, we were just like you. Same conditions, gang banging, death, destruction, darkness, and despair. But we had two advantages that we realized was important to advance us in our survival. We knew that education was important so we can understand what the hell is going on. And then secondly, don't ever say, I don't have anything. Because everything that you need to be successful is inside of you already. We were just young brothers and sisters in the midst of death, destruction, and despair that said, yo, there's some beautiful music inside of us. There's some beautiful language inside of us. There's some beautiful style inside of us. There's some beautiful dance inside of us. There's some beautiful arts inside of us. And we didn't make excuses. So when you're sitting in here in school, the things that they teach you in school should encourage you to go home by yourself and pick up a book. Go home by yourself and watch a documentary. Go home by yourself and ask the elders who are around you, your aunts, your uncles, your grandmothers, your grandfather. What was it like?
Also because when I was able to get out of school, I went out of school and I went to Delphi to get my degree. And I did a radio station. We did radio shows with music. And we were fortunate when this man just barely got out of high school. Run Dmc started out and so what we was doing at the college as being something that was great for hip hop and great for them. The culture is always influenced by society and what it is. Unfortunately, we have a person at the time who's the head of the country right now, who's not a great example for leadership anywhere in the world. When the rest of the world is looking at the United States of America like, y'all got a problem. And y'all in high school looking at this as being the standard, it can influence the culture. Out of that influence, people start making songs about anything. Or matter of fact, you know, once upon a time it was about hip-hop songs. Today, music is sight, it's music and hearing, it's style, the way people dress, and it's also the story that people are about. That's all in hip-hop. It's not just a song anymore. When y'all on Instagram, you're putting pictures out. How many of y'all on Instagram? Hands in the air, right? Or should I say phones in the air if you can have it. So these influences go back and forth. What you got to start understanding is like, who's in charge of making something, as they say, green light, meaning it's okay to hear it on the radio? Who's in charge of that? Because pretty much, if you make a song or whatever bothering you, if it turns into a song, you could probably do better than what you hear, but who's giving you a shot to be heard amongst a lot of people? So we're in a time right now where hip-hop is influencing the culture, but also the culture influences hip-hop back and forth. That's a problem because you have to say, who is in charge? Who's minding the store? Who actually gives people a shot? Who doesn't give people a shot? What you want to rely on is your reality. Your reality is everyday people that you see in front of your face. Maybe not somebody that you have to see through the phone. Maybe not somebody that you never met, but you're affected by what they say. There's a lot of bullying going on right about now. You have to be able to be in your own world and look at people in your own light every day to try to make you look at your phone as something second and not first and primary. So is influence in the hip hop or culture? The influence now is what's in that phone, what's in that social media. You gotta be on top of it, and if you're not on top of it, it will be on top of you. So understand, and then also, There's nothing that somebody can't answer. Once upon a time, when we went to school, we could say things like, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I ain't got the answer to that. Everybody got a computer in their pocket now. You can look up the answer to anything. And that doesn't mean that's the answer, you just got to challenge it. And that's what school does. It makes you challenge the information that's coming at you. So the influences might not be in hip hop anymore. It might be in the culture, but the culture is influenced by how everybody's connected to each other on social media.
Yes. And it's not like, I tell a lot of people, young people who want to be hip hop or get into hip hop. It's not being, and I hate the word game, it's not a damn game. It's a lifestyle. And all the negative stuff that dominates our culture of hip hop. For me, it's not about just freedom of speech and censorship. As an artist, singer, painter, poet, you can write and make movies about whatever you want to make. But for me, as being somebody who was blessed by the hip hop culture since I was 8 years old, there's a lot of issues for me that deal with homicide and genocide. A lot of the dominant issues are destroying our young people, are destroying our culture. So for me, it's not about being part of the game. I hate the game word. But it's about what could you do to influence it. So I'm just an example of a little kid growing up in New York City. And like I said earlier, same problems that y'all go through: bullying, gang banging, house robbing, drugs, all of that stuff. Sex abuse, drug abuse, substance abuse, all of that was there. So for me, when I came into hip hop, the main influence, especially as it is now, is about this negative stuff in the street is your only way out, or it's the only thing that makes you strong and powerful. That was the whole influence of it. And like Chuck D said, Trump is an example of what's going on in America. For you young people in here, negativity is a false sense of power. Being disrespectful, being ignorant, and that word ignorant offends a lot of young people. Man, you ignorant, because look at that word, look at the way it sounds, you ignorant. It's not about you, there's nothing wrong with you, you perfect. You just need to wake up and realize your potential. But you're ignoring the truth. So how do you influence culture? How can you influence the culture?
I had to let them know I'm DMC in the place to be. I go to St. John's University, and since kindergarten I acquired the knowledge. After 12th grade I went straight to college. I spoke those words about because I was proud about who I was. And by me being confident about that, the same way these rappers can talk about taking drugs, having sex, and being disrespectful with that ego and attitude. I took a positive outlook on it, and just by me speaking it, you know what happened? I'm what, 18 years old at the time. So everybody 17 to 6 in my hood selling drugs, shooting and all that, they came to me like, it was like, yo, Darryl, man, how in the hell you got a Mercedes-Benz, big gold chain, Kangols, Gazelle, and Adidas, and you go to school? You go to St. John's University. That was an influence, and I told him, man, I've been since kindergarten, man, straight A student, this and that, boom, bang, always did my homework. When I didn't know that, I'm 54 years old. People, I go to places and I do this. They say, what are you doing there for? Because I have a question for you. Put your hand up and ask a question because you received the information. But those dudes that saw me doing that the way that I was doing it because I was proud and not ashamed of it, a couple of those young brothers, not all of them, a couple of them went back to the corner, but a couple of those brothers said, yo, I don't need a gun. I don't need to sell drugs to be that. And a couple of those dudes said, yo, D, I was ignorant. I was ignorant to what all this was about. So they said, yo, you went to college when you graduated from high school. They said, just to be complete, I got my shell toes, I got my Pumas, I got my Adidas, I got my Adidas suit, I got my Lees, I got my Cadillac, I got my Mercedes Benz, I got my glasses, I got my hat, I got my Kango. Some of these young brothers said, yo, I went and got a GED. I went and got a GED just so I could stand on my corner and say that I have it all. So that's the influence. I rhymed about my glasses. D's for doing it all of the time. M's for the rhymes that are all mine. C's for cool ass can be and run and say, why you wear those glasses? I go, so I can see. I didn't wear them to be cool. I didn't wear them to be a fashion statement. We did a rhyme about sneakers. Why do you think rappers getting deals? Because what me running J did. And that wasn't the intent. It wasn't the intent to be rich and famous. It was to have an influence on our people. So my question to the young people, yes, we can influence the very influential things that are there instead of complaining about, I don't like this song, do something about it. All of you people, all of you young people, all of you diverse people in here from the same area have something to offer. And when we did the sneaker record, we did a record about our sneakers. We didn't call Adidas. Don't get it twisted, y'all. I ain't thirsty like that. I ain't calling Adidas give me a deal. We did the record because we knew we had the power and Adidas called me. So when we did that, it wasn't just about what hip-hop was doing. We didn't just change music. We changed marketing. We changed communication. We changed advertising. So all of you young people, if you just have the guts to utilize one positive creative ability that you have instead of following to be cool and listen to the same records everybody listens to and dance like everybody else, bring something different because then you will see things change in your community. I come from an era of hip-hop. The way hip-hop is now, as successful as Run DMC is and has been, if Run DMC was to happen right now, there would be a gazillion Run DMCs running around. But we come from a generation, and don't get it twisted, Joe, me and Chuck D, we elders now, but we didn't change the world when we were grown-ass men. We changed the world when we were young men. So in my generation, Run DMC had their responsibility of influence, Chuck D had their responsibility of influence, De La Soul had their responsibility of influence, Rakim, the God MC. That's a big responsibility to be the God MC. Rakim had enough respect for y'all, knowing about his influence that I know him. My cousins rode with Rakim's crew. They were the crew that would go into the diner with ski masks on and rob everybody. Put the money in the bag. If you look at me, we're going to shoot you. But when Rakim got on that microphone in front of the world, and the world was looking at him as the God and see, he knew his influence. So he did something very simple and powerful. You know how he influenced this hip-hop thing? He said, I used to roll up. This is a hold-up. But now I learn to earn because I'm righteous. And just by him saying it, he didn't say you're wrong for being in the gang and you're wrong for selling drugs. He just spoke it. And all the little shorties who stick up kids was like, oh, the God MC said we don't have to do stick-ups no more. We don't have to do stick-ups no more. We don't have to disrespect our black women. We don't have to use profanity. We don't have to act like ignorant fools just to impress people and say we're down with hip-hop because like Chuck D said, we are all better than that. What's the influence of hip-hop? You are, and me and Chuck is waiting for y'all to realize.
And they would have that. So in the 80s, they stopped doing assemblies. This is where rap music took over where, okay, ain't nobody gonna talk to me, so I'm gonna follow that town hall where everybody used to get together and try to figure it out. So they have a problem of getting together. So basically, you know, what this is about across the country, we need communities that they can look at and say, oh, look what they doing in Roosevelt. We could do it too. Once upon a time, Roosevelt and Hempstead, and Freeport, and Unionville, on Long Island, and also parts of Queens, they were the towns that the whole country looked at and said, yo, they got it happening out there. Not only do they have their schools and they figured out how to not have the gangs, but they got all hip-hop artists are coming from there too. And from a Rakim and a Run DMC, we go to places like Gary, Indiana, St. Louis, Missouri, Los Angeles, and all the little towns in Texas, and they'd be like, look, we are listening and following. We want to be great like y'all are in Roosevelt and Hollis. We want to get our communities together. But that didn't come because of the state government. That didn't come because of the cities. That didn't even happen because of the towns. It happened because the music was setting the principle and setting people free. And people like, yo, I want to go to Roosevelt. I was like, well, you go to Roosevelt, it's a square mile, you're going to be in and out real quick. But people all over the world wanted to come to Hollis and Roosevelt.
It used to be 45, Johnny Juice says it was 72. A couple of people told me 71. But you gotta understand something. It started with the music. We took our music to the streets of New York City because it was nothing but death, destruction, and despair and darkness around us. And we wanted to show the world that, y'all know they're saying, yes, he makes beautiful music. We all got some beautiful music in us. So we took it to the streets of New York City. And this would be a perfect example for y'all. To not complain, because everything that you have, you already have. You just need somebody. You need to realize that you have it. So we didn't have any resources. To come out of poverty, you need resources. Resources is things like real estate and money. Because the money could buy you the real estate. This building is a resource. You could put a school in it, you could put apartments in it, you could put condos in it, you could put a park. We cut them up, we place them on the floor. Now we got a dance floor. Now we can dance and spin on the head. Then what happens? Somebody driving behind, stop the car, stop! Stop! You guys are incredible, you're dancing and spin on your head. I'm gonna pay you to come dance for me. Y'all know who the Jabberwockies are, right? Shaq danced with them and stuff like that. They used to dance on corners on hardwalks. Do you know Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, Cher, Elton John? They have a thing called a residency in Vegas. And if you don't know what a residency is, a residency means instead of you touring the nation from city to city and town to town to get a lot of money, you go to Vegas, they put you in the best hotel in Vegas, and 5 times a week you go downstairs in a hotel, you do what you do, and then you go back upstairs and they pay you a lot of money. The Jabberwockies have a residency in Vegas. So it's like Chuck said, education, coming together, put the young people together, because that's when miracles happen. And y'all don't need to be ashamed of he's better rapper than me, or he looks better than me, or this and that. Because matter of fact, y'all, I want to tell you, we don't need no more rappers. We need more leaders of the companies that sign the rappers. We need more lawyers that represent the rappers. I'm a rapper. You can get more money than me by being my manager or my lawyer. So we got to look at what we're doing in our communities that people think ain't worth nothing, and then we become the vehicles to get the value to start bringing in the dollars. And that's all we did. That's how PE is sitting worldwide iconic. Like other rapper guys are just other rapper guys. Oh, he got a good record, he's dating her, he got a lot of money, he drives the car. But PE, Run DMC, Eric B. and Rakim, and let's not forget, hold up, the dudes always seem to take over stuff. Let's not forget the beautiful women of hip-hop. Queen Latifah. Why is there no women with Queen in front of their name? Fully clothed. MC Light Bahamadia. And one of the greatest MCs, better than 99% of all the dudes out now, Moni Love. And if you don't know who she is, go listen to her. So everything that we're doing in our communities by coming together creates a vast bulk of wealth and opulence for all of us, but we gotta come together.
Well, how many of y'all watch sports on TV, right? Everybody comes from the same community, but every time y'all see an athlete, 99% of the time, that league and that TV got them in check. They know they could be wilding out or whatever, but before they get on that microphone, they know they got to be accountable for what they say. You know, you're an owner to what you say. Oh, no, you're an owner to what you don't say. But you're a slave to what you do say. So you have to, whatever you're thinking, before you get on this microphone and talk to, whether it's 1 or 1 million people, because everything on the internet is out there. And what we could go off and say the worst things today, and trust me, it'll be all over the world. So don't think that, oh yeah, you know, like a bunch of old school rappers, you know, got on there and talked today. No. It's about staying the course and saying the right thing, because we're generations different. We have to say the right thing when we have the mic. We know that accountability and that responsibility. Just like every athlete that y'all think is your favorite, it could be Odell Beckham Jr., but when he get on the mic, he ain't wilding out. The NFL got him in check. The NBA got everybody in check. LeBron on down. They know when they get on the mic, they got to be able to say the right thing, because if they say the wrong thing, everybody got it on blast. So it's the same thing with y'all. I mean, assemblies and getting together should almost happen like every month, if not every 2 weeks, where everybody who y'all see on TV, who y'all got popping on your social media, they should be able to talk to y'all directly so they can get rid of the myth. So y'all can say, this is real, and this ain't real. And also, here's another thing. Everybody is intelligent because people are gifted in different ways. So don't feel that you're dumber than somebody else. Don't feel that, okay, if they out there getting this money is not going to be the thing that's going to make or define you. It's to be made anyway. It's like grass. You get it, you find your way in the middle of it, and you make it. That's not going to define your life. You always going to need it. So you got to make sure that you are equipped to always get it when you need it, and then you got to spread it. That's how it works. But just don't think that because you're sitting listening to us today, you got to get it in all one shot. It ain't going to happen like that. Some things you hear today, 10 years from now, you're going to be like, damn, yeah, wow, yeah. So they came to my school and they dropped jewels, and I got it 10 years later. Back in the 1970s, when I came to the same school, in the same building, I was sitting back, they talking on the stage, I'm like, whatever, I'm listening, I'm kind of half listening, and then 5, 10 years later, I'm like, oh, or I might see some of those people on TV. When I grew up here, the #1 basketball player in the world was Dr. J, Julius Erving. And when Dr. J, they used to, matter of fact, we go back so far in this town, it's called Julius Erving Boulevard, Nassau Road now. And they used to have Church's Chicken up there, and now it's another bodega up there. But I remember one time, Dr. J, he's #1 basketball player in the world. Like y'all looking at LeBron right now, some of y'all like Westbrook, some of y'all like Kyrie Irving, whatever you think. But just think, the #1 basketball player in the world, up there on Nassau Road, and me and my boys, we sitting in the next table over, and they behind us. Every time Dr. J got on the microphone, he represented Roosevelt without saying Roosevelt. And if Dr. J said the wrong thing, we know that we'll start shrinking our seats and feeling bad. That was the accountability that we got growing up in this town. I grew up down the street from Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy. We're right there, they live down on Click. I'm saying what I don't like, and this is what Brothers Keepers is about. Brothers and Sisters Keepers. We all a human family. And I don't like divisions. And hip-hop is not about divisions. Black History Month is very important to signify, yes, we are black people in the United States of America, because they are twisted to say, y'all got this degree of black blood, so y'all black, so we got to know who we are. But the separation of us in our neighborhood, black and brown or whatever, we the human family of color. The division in our own neighborhoods has to stop when we learn about each other, or we learn about a parent, or, oh, okay, you from Ecuador and you from Newark. Okay, y'all the same. Okay, this person grew up in a family household and they speak Espanol in a family household. That's not to be laughed at. Those people are learning 2 languages. That you know, the more language we learn, the more we could be important around the world. It's the world that's important. So this place in Roosevelt is a beautiful place when it brings everybody together. Hip-hop is a universal language that has taught the whole world. So now we come together, we listen. You're not all going to get any information or education on one shot a bunch of old school guys talking to y'all about you though. It's about you. The beginning's with you. And then once it becomes you, then what are you going to do? You got to share it with your loved ones. You share it with your community. Whatever community you move to, you share with. It doesn't hold on, and it's not about stacking up just you and your individual self. You know, I got my man Drew and the Prince over. I've been working with these guys 40 years. And they're here in Roosevelt all the time. I come back every once a month, you know, check on my grandchild and things like that, and just keep it moving around the rest of the world. But you are in a very important place, and I wish that every high school could do this every month or every 2 weeks. There's a lot of fear out there bringing young people together. And whoever you see out there, they can't be afraid of you. In sports, they bring youth together because the leagues are strong, and they say, and they tell the players, get on out there and talk to the community. And if you don't, you're getting fined $250,000 if you say the wrong thing. Hip hop ain't got that. But we hold it in check all the time. And we just tell somebody, look, if you're 36 years old, or how old is Cardi right now? Cardi's like what? 27? And wasn't Nicki mad at her? How old is Nicki? But not. Let me get one age. 34, 41, 36. They old. Y'all listen. Y'all are 16, 17, 15, 14. They're being played on Hot 97 and Power 106 who say like what? We playing the music for what? New York, right? But at the same time, they'll tell people wild demographics, meaning that the people that listen to them are all the teenagers. So here you playing grown old folks, and you old. How old is your favorite DJ? 41, 42, 37.
Think about that, y'all.
46. Look, if they 46 and 41 and 35 and 34, and they talking to y'all, should they be talking with y'all, or should they be talking down to y'all, or should they be talking up to y'all? They know that they gotta deliver to y'all, but at the same time, how often do you see them in your face? So this is the key thing. This is the key thing. If older people are going to be playing the music and doing the music or whatever, then they should just admit that we just doing it for older people. We ain't doing it for younger people. Then the radio station should be straight out and say, oh, we not playing music for younger people. Teenagers, we ain't relating to them. This ain't for them. This is all adult. This artist is 37 years old. They're about popping in the club. If you ain't old enough to get in the club, then what is the club music for you for? You ain't old enough to get in the club. Matter of fact, many of you young men, y'all ain't gonna get into the club till y'all 23. So they kind of talking to y'all to sell y'all on it. But one thing they didn't understand, young people ain't buying no records no more. My daughter, who's 25 years old, I told her, I said, you gonna go buy that album? And she looked at me and started laughing. This was 10 years ago. See, I didn't buy no music. But buying into the culture is believing the culture. So what these courses, what these seminars, what these assemblies are about, it should be getting rid of the hype and getting rid of the mythology. What's true and what's not true. And there's nothing worse than seeing a bunch of older people tricking young people. That's not cool. You gotta be honest with young people. Say, yeah, you wanna get here, but it ain't your time yet. But this is boom, boom, boom. This is in your lane. And when it comes to be in your lane, then you gotta be ready for it. That's what education is about. It prepares you for the future so you don't get your head knocked off. Right. Everybody got their phone attached to them. What you going to your phone for? And I leave this on this note. Everybody got one, right? If you got a phone, put your hand in the air. This is the millennium, right? If somebody cut off your phone service, that probably make you mad, right? That's the time we live in. You can say everything can cut off except for your phone. Are you using it for a toy or is it a tool? The more you use it for a tool and you put your education to it, the more it will work for you in the future since you're attached to it. If it's just a toy, then it will be on top of you. So I'm just saying, this education got to have the 4 basics, right? 4 basics. How many of y'all know Stephen A. Smith? Stephen A. Smith is from Hollis, grew up with DMC. He's on TV and on radio all day long, all the time. He's been fired about 5 times, right? Stephen A. Smith will never ever be out of the job. You know why? Just don't do it. Y'all know. So while you're here, you're only here for a short bit. Ask your teachers questions that might linger along with you, and it'll take you a long way. Don't be afraid of them. And they sure not afraid of you. But when you get out there in the world, there's going to be a lot of places afraid of you. And you're going to try to get education, you better dig deep in your pocket. So get it now. So whether you heard anything else that we said up here, we said you in the sweet spot right now. And when you get to 18 years old, and this is another thing about society, people in the rush to get grown from 12 to 18. Can't wait till I get grown. Can't wait till I go to the jump ball. Can't wait till I go to the fire festival. And when they turn 18 to 30, then they want to be kids again. Once you turn 18 in this country, that little jump, you did some foolishness, they take you right to jail. And jail is another whole life that they don't seem to let young people know. If it was up to me, I'll let somebody from jail come to the school once a month and tell their story. Not just the famous person, not just the famous person. Every month have somebody come straight from jail and speak right here and talk. And looks right in front of people and say, yeah, you want to take it there? When you come up in our spot at 18 years old, all puffed out, we're going to puff you back down. So these are the things. You're in a sweet spot right now. Get what's here. Exhaust your resources. Yep. Use your phone as a tool as much as you can. We know it's going to be a toy. And just try to understand that this is accountability of older people to young, just like y'all should be accountable to people younger than yourself.
All right.
Are not probably used to somebody coming and talking to them directly. When I was a kid in this town, I remember Roy Wilkins was at some kind of parent-teachers board conference or whatever, and I couldn't believe this is the same guy I saw in Ebony magazine. And he talked to me for a second and said, "Do you want a piece of my cookie?" And I was like, and this is Roy Wilkins that that you could look up and see how well known he was as a politician, administrator, activist, or whatever. So that had an impact on me, man, and I still remember it like it was yesterday, and I was in 5th grade. So I know the magnitude of a person that they kind of could see in real life, talk to them, in a direct person type of thing. So you got to always do it. I grew up in a town like with Dr. J. The fact that Dr. J, you could say hi to him, he'd say hello back, you'd be like, whoa. I mean, it carried you for years.
So the message that you had inside was, face-to-face is more important than the Instagrams, the Twitter, on the phones. Just talk about the importance of the face-to-face.
Well, the importance of the face-to-face, if they already have the connection on their phone as being the toy, you want to tell them it's important as a tool, and they see this being accented with people in real life, getting rid of the mythology and the hype. And a lot of times people want to make judgments on what's out there in the news. Everything's not, to be TMZ. This is, their lives, and people want to be able to connect and say, this is about you, and these are the tools that are important. You're only here for a short period of time.
So do you think that it means more to the kids to actually shake your hand, to say hello to you face-to-face rather than what they're seeing on television?
Yes, it's more important to be in front of their face, live, person to person, but also important to tell them something without looking for the results that it should work overnight. You should at least try it, be there once, be in your lane, accountable and responsible, keep it moving in your adult lane, and give them the tools as they're youth.
And when you do come back here to Roosevelt High, how do you reflect? Because you graduated from here. How are you reflecting on this?
I went to this school, You always want to say and try to do the right thing. As an adult, you want to attempt to say and do the right thing, especially if you got youth around. Because you know if you do the wrong thing, you guys are covering me from a different vantage point. Quickly. And they spreading it around quicker. Look, bad news travels light speed today. Good news is like a climb. You're climbing up. So continue to climb.
That's peace. That's peace.
You guys are dope.
Yeah, contact me. So this 9th grade to 12th?
Yeah.
All right. 9 to 12. Perfect. All right.
You get one with Simon. This is his phone. Compliments of the,
Yeah, we can talk hip hop, everything. I see y'all in Erasmus.
Like I always tell them, no excuse.
All right, use the restroom.